Okay, we are in Imagine Books again today, and I'm talking to
Roger Hardingham.
Roger Hardingham, who has published a small book. Let me see. There we are. A brief illustrated guide to Weymouth. He also creates DVDs. So could you tell us about the DVDs you've got here?
Yes, well, the DVDs is the main part of my small business, which I'm based just outside Weymouth at Osmington Mills, actually.
Right.
And I film them myself, unless they're archive films, but I collect the films in that case. I then put them together, often narrate them myself, and then publish them, and then sell them mail order and in shops like Imagine Books here. But occasionally I produce books. This little book on Weymouth is a guidebook. It's only £3.50, so I've done all the pictures myself. I've made it reasonable for people. It's literally up to date as to when the Olympic flame came through Weymouth, actually.
Right.
So as soon as I got a picture of that, I took it straight down to the printers and off it went, and we had the book about 5 days later.
So the guide does it concentrate on one particular thing, or is it just
No, it's a general guide to Weymouth. I've tried to cover, for instance, things like the seaside town aspect of Weymouth, how it became a seaside town.
Right.
I've gone into the royalty aspect because, of course, Weymouth became famous when King George III came here in the late 18th century. So I've done quite a bit about the royal aspect because it's really what highlighted Weymouth.
Mm-hmm.
And then we go to the harbour. We've got some nice pictures of the bridge that's just been refurbished, actually, the old bridge here, the lifting bridge. So I took pictures all around the harbour, and the fishing boats, of course, dropping off crabs. There's a lot of history as well in the background captions about Weymouth, about all the important facts. I've got fact files throughout the book, just giving a little bit of information about Weymouth people may not have known before. And
have you found anything you didn't expect about Weymouth?
Not as a history as such, but you know, I've lived in the area for 15 years actually, and until I went around taking all the photographs of Weymouth for this book, I did a lot of them last year, which is probably just as well because the weather was awful this year. So I was lucky last year, and I did do a few this year. But what I found actually going round, because I had to go round the whole of Weymouth, because in the book I've tried to cover every sort of area of Weymouth, not just one aspect to it. And I just thought, well, what an amazing place we've got here. It is a wonderful town. It's got a fantastic beach. The harbour is really, really good. Very interesting. I love going down there myself and just parking up and watching what's going on. You know, the yachts and the fishing boats and normally we would have the ferries coming in and out, which we will again soon, I'm sure. And really, I just found that, gosh, what a nice place we've got here, actually. And I didn't realise it so much until
I think when you live at a place for a long time, you tend to not notice. That's
right, you do. I mean, I don't hardly ever go to the little tourist attractions around where we live in Dorset. Very, very rarely. You know, have people come to stay or something, and say, oh, can we go to Clouds Hill, or can we go to Abbotsbury Swannery, you know, and all that. But I don't go very often. But it's more than often the case, if you live in an area, you tend to go away and visit places. But I think certainly when I was doing this little book, I discovered that actually Weymouth has got an awful lot to offer, actually, and we ought to cherish it, really. But
do you think with the changes that are happening in Weymouth now, it's getting better or getting worse?
Well, I think personally speaking, I think in some aspects, I think they've slightly overdone it, actually, to some extent. But the Olympics being here this year, I think it's actually improved the front of Weymouth, if you like.
Right, with the lasers.
And you know, there's a lot of it's tidied up. It looks a lot cleaner because actually it's a very, very popular resort generally all of the time, not just for the Olympic year. I mean, people flock here in the summer, and the traders rely on it, of course. But it has tidied it all up.
Sure.
So it's given a big emphasis, and of course it will be worldwide now, and so hopefully in the years to come people will come to Weymouth more and more to have a look and see where the Olympics were going on, and hopefully stay over and
buy a copy of your book
and buy the guidebook because it's got everything in it, including a street map. So I mean, you know, you can't wish for any more.
So if people wanted to buy a copy of the book, Have you got a website or?
Yes, all my DVDs. I do a lot of railway DVDs, but I'm personally
Right.
interested in railways and the big great liners of the old days, the Queen Mary and QE2, and I do all sorts of DVDs. My website is railwayvideo.com, so it's railway
Right.
video without an S on the end, .com, and all my things are on there. Imagine Books here sell all my products, a lot of them anyway,
Right.
and other outlets around the country.
Right.
Mm.
Can people order your items? They can order your items from the website.
Yes, there's an
So
online
if
shop.
people did that, could they get them signed? If they
Yes,
wanted
yes.
that?
If they want to put a note on an email,
Yes.
I can sign the books. I've got quite a few books actually on the website. They can all be signed. It's through a PayPal system, so it's dead easy to order on the website.
Right.
And
What actually got you interested in sort of big ships and things? Was it something in the past that?
Yeah, well, my father was in the Merchant Navy,
Right.
and I was brought up just outside Southampton. And I
So
just
you
remember,
can't.
yes, that's right. And of course, we have the big liners going in and out of Southampton every day, and they still do, in fact,
Right.
but in a different. They're cruise liners rather than ocean liners, as they used to be. And actually, I was born in South Africa, and the only time I've ever been on a liner to travel on one is coming back on the Union Castle line from Southampton. Sorry, to Southampton. I was only 5, so I don't really remember a lot of it.
Yeah.
But maybe that had something to do with it. But I've always had a great love of the Queen Mary, which is now in Long Beach in California.
Sure.
And I've actually just done a guidebook to the Queen Mary, funny enough, which I sell on board the Queen Mary over in Los Angeles. So I've got a great interest in that, and then I've been on the QE2
Right.
and a lot of the P&O ships, and I just find them just magical. If you go down to Southampton and watch one go out, I think you can't help but wonder at the size of the thing.
How it floats.
And how it floats in the first place. Of course, one didn't. You see, it didn't quite make it all the way.
That's right.
I've done books on the Titanic, and I've got DVDs as well, and been quite involved in the Titanic this year with the anniversary. So, but it's all on the website, railwayvideo.com.
Right. Great. Thank you for the interview.
You're welcome.
Thank you.